Good afternoon, Sharks. I want to introduce myself. My name is Diego Ruiz. I am the proud owner of Liga Unión Deportes, or in English, Liga Union Sports. We are a children and adult sports recreational company striving to make sports in the state of Delaware and beyond accessible, affordable, and family friendly. Just to start off, I want to talk a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Lima, Peru. I grew up locally in the first state. I come from two immigrant parents. To this day are my role models. As a young child, I saw how they worked hard to support a family of five. My father worked as a mushroom picker and actually currently still does. And my mother worked at various fast food restaurants and production factories 6 to 7 days a week. They showed me that hard work, dedication, you can overcome all obstacles to be successful in life. Growing up, this showed me how much I loved sports and soccer. One of the big things that kind of affected me is that my family wasn't able to afford to send me to play for these experiences as money was tight growing up. What ended up happening and how the story kind of started is that at a local park, I ended up meeting somebody that saw me play soccer. He was a coach. He took me under his wing and ended up sponsoring me and paying for me to play from the ages of 9 years old until I was my late teens. This person for me was somebody that impacted my life in very many different ways and gave me the opportunity to not only play the sport I love, but to grow as an individual and have many different resources and opportunities that I wouldn't have had without him. Since then, I've worked really hard or vowed to myself that these same opportunities that I was giving at a young age from somebody else, that I would do my part to give back and do the same thing to other children similar as me or different, to give them the same opportunities that I was given in the sense of sports and different things like that. I knew that sports was not just the sports side, but helped me become the individual that I am today. Just a little bit about myself as well. So essentially that translates into what I ended up doing is for the last 8 years, I've been holding free training sessions around the state of Delaware, different local parks, at the LACC, Aspira schools, Kirkwood Sportsplex, wherever we could find a patch of grass, we would go and just the train soccer. For me, what that kind of meant is it was just not soccer. It was different life lessons that I was able to talk to them as I was exposed to them or given the opportunity. A little bit about my background. I've been blessed to make soccer a career. I work at various sports complexes and operations, but I've always on the soccer side. I've been the head coach of Newark High School, club coach at Kirkwood Sports Complex, and also Philadelphia Union Scout, which is one of the professional local teams. With this, these are some photos here. I've seen that obviously this was my job, so it's something that I would get paid to do. But just like as like I said, I saw myself in many different kids around the community. So this is where I ended up giving all the free training sessions that I talk about. We'll go to local parks. This is different community people and children that I was able to impact in the time that I was given, and with the strong relationships and communications that I have with different people, this is kind of a small little image of those different types of things. So again, we're in adult and children's sports recreational leagues and trainings. So what we saw and what I saw throughout the time of the volunteering and everything, that there was a big problem, not just in the state, but I feel in the country. And it's having access to sports that has many different advantages. So one of the big things, like I said, with myself is the affordability. The cost that it is in this country to play is very high for many families, and many families don't have access, adults and children's. Sorry, on there is supposed to be accessibility. So being able to have access. So I work a lot with the Latino community It's not just the Latino community, but we started with about 95% Latino community, and it's about having the language, being able to explain to them in our first native language, and the information and different things like that. And the last part and benefit, or the problem that we saw, was the health factor. With all different type of populations, but mainly Latino, which we have a big reach in. The CDC had a stat that it's 47.8% of Latinos are obese, children and adult. So that's something that we took to heart, and we saw that there was a need for these type of events and these type of programming. So we sought out to find a solution. So next slide, the solution. What we ended up doing, and starting a little bit over a year ago, we're actually a year and 1 month in, is to create affordable and accessible sports programs for our community. So what this means is our adult sports programs, where we have organized sporting events where we use different locations around the state. Locally, we're at Abyssinia Stadium, Chase Fieldhouse, Constitution Yards, Kirkwood Soccer Complex, local PAL centers. So we use these facilities to host different sports events. And our children's side is what we do, is now we do free training sessions for our children. So again, this is photos of just the relationships and community that we've been able to build, the free training sessions that we do weekly on Sundays, where we provide the training, myself and other volunteers that we've been blessed to come and help us. And that's essentially what we do for those programs. So a little bit more information about programs, just so you understand kind of like the business part and how we kind of move forward from there. So our big thing in the beginning was to make sure that we were affordable. I've kind of been around the sport for a long time, so I've been able to see kind of the different pricing and everything like that. So I wanted to make sure that we found something that was affordable for our community. So just some stats here. We have usually different seasons throughout the year, 6-week seasons where we charge around $650 per team. That includes a shirt and different things for them as well. And we have usually 12 to 15 players per team. And it comes out to be, for the 6 weeks, around $50 per player. And our children is our free weekly training sessions that we've been doing and trying to continue. As a business, we were using the adult to supplement and pay for rentals, shirts, different things that we needed for the children. And we've kind of seen that we've had to potentially find different ways to support the program, because we got to the point where it was too many kids and not enough volunteers, and be myself and over 100 kids, and it just didn't become sustainable. And I got really good advice from different people, and just trying to find different avenues, whether it be grants, sponsorships, to be able to continue to support and find solutions for that. So next slide is our growth. Again, we were founded in August 2021. It's been humbling and crazy to see how quickly we've grown, how big the community is. We have over 4,500 participants that we've seen. Again, we started essentially marketing and sending our information all out in pretty much Spanish, because we knew there was a big need for that, hence the name Liga Unión Deportes. But since then, we've seen that there's a melting pot of everything. So right now, currently, we have over 20 countries represented in our program, all different types of languages, all different types of ethnicities. I think we're at the point where we're not just a quote unquote Latino organization. We're a melting pot of everything. And we did like a stat. So we're around maybe 70% now Latino, 30% different cultures and ethnicities. So impact of the money, the scholarship, the grant, the prize money. So what we want to continue to do is continue to expand our children's program. We see there's a big need in our community, as not just myself, but there's other people involved as well. And they've all we've connected with a lot of people that have gone through the same story. We see that the need that so many kids in our community need. And if we've seen that if we're not the ones to get there in the mornings, make the connections, make the phone calls, reach out to the volunteers, get everything early, then nobody else will. So we want to continue to expand our program. We currently had over 100 kids showing up with zero marketing. It was all essentially one post, and it grew to that. We try to backtrack a little bit because we didn't have enough volunteers. Give you an example, some days we'd have 80 kids, and again, they're volunteers. So morning of, something happens and I'm there by myself with 80 kids and one volunteer. So it becomes almost unmanageable. So we've seen the problems that we haven't done correctly. We learn from them, as I believe all entrepreneurs do. So we need funds to enable it to pay for the facilities, pay for the staff or instructors, and pay for equipment and uniforms that right now we're taking away from our profits from the adults programming. So again, want to thank you for your time. You can look us up on Instagram or Facebook. Facebook is a little bit more teetered to the Spanish. It has both languages. And on Instagram, we have a big variety of mostly pretty much English on that site. But thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And yeah,